Today is the day. It's going to be a big, big game. It's never going to be understated how big this game actually is in the calendar of Liverpool's season and also Manchester United's season. It's Liverpool at Anfield versus Manchester United, and there's injury concerns on both sides. I don't know all of Manchester United's injury concerns. I don't really care. And there's obviously concerns over ours as well, particularly at right back. There is apparently potential that we could feature a 16-year-old Dutch right back that we signed in July this year, but he's been training with the senior team. However, there's also rumours that Nathaniel Klein could be there as well. Now, if we're going to take all things considered for this game, and if James Milner is fit, I'm putting him at right back. Why? Nathaniel Klein has barely played in God knows how long. Sometimes I even forget that he's actually a right back at our club, right? Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to miss this game. That's guaranteed. He's missing this game. There's no other way about it. So someone else is going to have to be there. Obviously, Joe Gomez is out for an extended period of time as well. For me, it's got to be Milner. Bringing a 16-year-old in there, it could work. It really could work, but it's also a massive risk. It's a lot to put on a 16-year-old's head and shoulders to come into a game like Liverpool versus Manchester United when I've never seen him. I have no idea what he's like as a player. You know, what type of right back is he? How capable is he? Obviously, Jurgen Klopp's done things like this in the past where he's brought youth through, but I don't know if this is the game to do it, to be honest. I really don't know if it is. If we're going to do it, maybe do it against Wolves or maybe against Newcastle United, something like that. Maybe not against Manchester United, yeah? Okay? Because no matter where Man United are in the table, they've still got a threat. It's still, it's a big rivalry. Everybody steps their game, like Liverpool will step their game up against Man United, Man United will step their game up against us. It doesn't, form and such like that, places in the table kind of has to go out the window, in my opinion. And we've just got to go there and hopefully, oh God, we've got to put in a good performance, in my opinion. We really, really do. So with that being said, Milner, for me, if he's fit, will be at right back, and I hope he is. If not, there's rumours that it could be Klein, and it'd probably be Klein over the 16-year-old, but who knows? Jurgen Klopp has thrown some curveballs at us in the past. Other than that, backline has to be, obviously, Alisson in goal. How can you not? How could you not? You could not choose anybody else to be in goal. Andy Robertson at left back. Then at centre back, we would have Virgil van Dijk and Lovren, because there are only fit senior centre-backs right now, which is concerning, but we've got to deal with it and get on with it. Then in the midfield, people saying, midfield conundrum. How are we going to line up this midfield? What's going to be the best one to go forward with? And if you were to ask me this last week before the Napoli game, no way would I have said Henderson, Milner, Wijnaldum. However, they played exceptionally well against Napoli, and now it makes it really difficult in a good way to choose which midfield you go with in this game. For me, I still think that this midfield needs to have Fabinho in there because I think that he has been brilliant. Every single game he plays, he seems to get a bit better, seems to have a bit more of an impact, and seems to take less time to actually get an impact on the game. When he first came in, wasn't having that much of an impact, but when he got further and further into games and he was having some more games, he's getting better and he's showing us what we've actually signed. I would love to see Fabinho in there with Wijnaldum, maybe Henderson, something like that. I think that could work. Otherwise, I would love to see Naby Keita in there in place of somebody. Ideally, I would go with Fabinho, Wijnaldum, and Naby Keita. Just to throw it out there, because I think Naby Keita will give you creativity, he'll give you drive through the midfield, but he'll also give you some bite. He is not afraid to get into a tackle. Sometimes, when he was at Leipzig, he'd take a red card. Hopefully, if he does play, no red cards. That would be absolutely fantastic. No red cards, please. But if he does play, I think he would be a really good one in the midfield. I think he'd be really key to getting us control of the midfield, because God knows how Man United are going to line up their midfield. Most likely, you would imagine that Pogba would play, or would he? Because he had a really bad game against Valencia the other night. So, God knows. I honestly don't, and I don't care how they're going to line up, to be honest. I'm just focused on Liverpool at the moment. And then the front three would most likely be Sadio Mane, Firmino, and Mohamed Salah. I have absolutely no problems with that whatsoever. It just depends on how we actually line up. Are we going to go with the 4-2-3-1? I don't know. 4-2-3-1 could work. It could work. You could stifle Man United there. It depends how they line up as well. Are they going to try and go three at the back? Because then if they go three at the back and say, what, if they go with like a 4-3, not 4-3, like a 3, let's say it's 5 at the back. So if they go with like a 5-3-1-1 or something like that, they wouldn't have very much on the wings. If you play a 4-2-3-1, it would nullify that because you've got enough people in the midfield, but enough people out wide, and then the central figure up front, who could be Firmino, it could be Salah, depends which. And also depends what they're going to do with their defence. Because if Man United have defensive issues, having someone like Salah up front could be a big issue for them. Now, obviously, if they've got I imagine they're going to, if they can, I imagine they're going to stack their midfield with the tallest players that they can, which will mean like your 6'4" Fellaini, 6'4" Pogba, and they're probably not going to use Fred, which I actually think would be a big threat. It would be more of a threat to our midfield than using someone else like 6'4" Matic. So you're basically going to have like the trio of towers in midfield is what I imagine Man United will do, which means that they will have a lack of mobility. They'll have threats in the air and they'll have great big physical robust people, but not a lot of pace in there. And we should be able to then move the ball with Fabinho, with Wijnaldum and with Keita. We should be able to move that ball around quite easily. I say easily. We should be able to do it quite fluidly, is probably what I mean. And then going on to the front three, depending on how they line their back line up, but, with, what's his name? If it's Ashley Young, wow. What's going on with Luke Shaw? He probably should be playing. And then I don't know what their defensive options are. I mean, we've seen him put McTominay in centre-back at some point, and that really didn't work out very, very well. I kind of hope he does that, though. That'd be ace. Obviously, you've got the brick wall at times of David De Gea, who saves Manchester United more often than not. So it kind of sometimes doesn't really matter what sort of defence gets put in front of him. You've got to get past David De Gea as well, who is still a world-class goalkeeper, probably still the number one goalkeeper in the world, But he's also not invincible this season. When you saw what he was doing last season, I think Man United conceded 28 goals or something like that last season in its entirety. This season alone, already they've conceded 24. It's not as impenetrable as it was last year, and maybe that's down to the defence. Maybe that's down to the defensive options, like not using Eric Bailly. Chris Smalling, apparently he's got a new contract and stuff like that, so maybe he might feature. Phil Jones, I mean, I've got fingers crossed that he actually does play, because that'd be ace. That'd really be good. And then Diogo Dalot, who actually looks like a decent right back for those guys. He actually looks like he's a type of right back who will move them forward, get them up the pitch, and get crosses in and stuff like that. And that'll be probably the best way that they can get an outlet, because God knows what they've got going on up front. Whether they go back to normal and they go with Lukaku. Or are they going to stick with Rashford and Martial? God knows. Maybe Juan Mata, who has been a bit of a nightmare for us in the past as well. I'd rather not see that. But at the end of the day, you take form and everything out of it, you take league positions out of it and everything like that. If you look at it squarely on paper, Man United have their threats. They've got talented players. We have our threats. We've got talented players as well. Absolutely. We've got stacks of talent. And now the only concern that we've got obviously would be at right back. And my other concern is Lovren. Lovren's always a concern for me, but I'm hoping alongside Van Dijk he will do okay. That's all I'm hoping for. And with Alisson in goal as well, I'm really hoping that he can put on a good performance again, especially after his match-winning performance against Napoli. Mourinho is coming out and he's moaning about how lucky Liverpool have been. Alright, yeah. Every team needs to have its slices of luck here and there. And that's just really how it goes. But I also feel that you create your own luck. It's not like, we got stupidly lucky against Napoli to go through into the knockouts of the Champions League. We created our own luck in that game. We controlled the majority of that game, the vast majority of that game. And any other games where we've, either we've brought it back to a draw or we've brought games and managed to win them somehow, you create your own luck by working hard as a team. Now, if you can't criticize another team for what I would say creating their own luck. If we were truly lucky, then I don't know, maybe the goalkeeper throws it out to his defender and he back passes it and bang, it's in the back of the net. I don't know. Maybe if you're unlucky, your centre back decides to try and slide in on a ball that's going back to goal and he slides it past his own goalkeeper. But I can't think of a centre back that's done that recently. Anyway, I think that this result could be massive for Liverpool. I think it would be more massive for Man United for them to win it. It really would. If they get a result, if they get a draw against Liverpool, it'd be massive for them. If we get a draw, I think we go level points on with Manchester City. I think, might be wrong on that one. I think we go level, might be one behind, can't remember. Anyway, less of that. Obviously, I would love us to win it. I want us to win this game, not just because of where we would go in the league, we'd go back top of the table, but because it's against Manchester United. And in the last 2 seasons at home at Anfield, we've drawn 0-0. I want us to go out there and be able to put on the type of performance that we've done, like against Napoli. If we can put on that pressing performance that we did there and maybe actually be a bit more clinical, I'm looking at you, Sadio Mane. The options that we would also have from the bench, if we go with that starting lineup that I had, you would still have like Daniel Sturridge on the bench. You'd have Shaqiri on the bench as well, who would be an excellent creative person to have later on in the game as well. Or if he starts, then you've got Naby Keita to come on as well. You've got options. You've got Henderson there, who could, if he's not in the starting lineup, he would then be able to come on as well. But as Liverpool captain, I actually imagine that he might start and Wijnaldum would drop to the bench. Or you'll see a Henderson and Wijnaldum midfield. Who knows? I actually think that we can go on and win this game. Not out of arrogance, and not out of the fact that I just don't think that... I don't know. I know that Man United will pose a threat to us, and I'm not too sure whether we would be able to keep a clean sheet. That I'm not sure of. I'd love us to keep a clean sheet. It'd be amazing if we could. But I do think that we can come out and win this game. Jamie Carragher has predicted that it's a 2-1 victory for Liverpool, and I'd love that to happen. I really would. I'd like us to go for a 2-1 victory as well for Liverpool, not just because Carragher said it, but I think it's realistic as well. I think maybe someone like a Rashford or Martial might score a goal, something like that. I can't, like Pogba coming up for a goal or something like that. I can't see that really happening. Maybe Juan Mata, because he's always caused us a few problems in the last couple of games, like the last times we played them. But I think we can score our goals as well. I think this could be the day that we maybe see Firmino come back into action properly, and he'll get a goal contribution of some sort, maybe something from Mane as well. I don't know, but I do think that 2-1 to Liverpool could be a realistic scoreline, and I'd just love it to happen. I really, really would. Anyway, that's my prediction, starting lineup anyway. It's been a bit of a late video, this one, because it's like 2 hours towards the start of the game, but hopefully you enjoy it. And I hope that hope we've got a game to enjoy later on. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.